My 27F boyfriends, 30M, parents, 70s, visit every 2-3 weeks, and I don't know how to tell them it's too much. I've been with my boyfriend for 3.5 years and living together for 2 years. Our relationship is great, and I do like his family. We've spent holidays together and have visited them in his/their home state about 6-7 times. They're both in their 70s and retired, so they have a lot more time on their hands than we do. That's great for them, but with all that time, they've really started to ramp up how often they visit. When we first moved in together, they would visit about once every 2-3 months, and that was fine. We would go visit them for Thanksgiving or Christmas, or just occasionally throughout the year. They've always stayed with us as we have a second bedroom, but we live in a large city and don't have a huge apartment, so 4 people in our space for 3 days is tight quarters. The last 8 months or so, it's become increasingly more often. It went from 2-3 months to every month, and now it's every 2-3 weeks. I don't even see my own family that often, and they live in a neighboring state. To be honest, I don't think I would really mind as much if they stayed elsewhere occasionally, but they never even ask if they can stay with us, they just assume they will be. Even worse, they recently don't even really ask me, or my boyfriend, if certain weekends work for us. At all, they just announce they'll be coming X weekend to my boyfriend. And then I'll hear it secondhand, and be like, wait, what? Since when? I'm especially annoyed, as they did this once again this weekend. They're here right now. I just started a new role that has been demanding and stressful, so all I wanted to relax this weekend with my boyfriend alone. In addition, they've stopped even offering to help clean up after I cook for them and just sit around, whereas I always help cook and clean whenever we visit them. I brought my frustrations up to my boyfriend for the second time, as his mom mentioned to me on Friday they'll be coming again in 2 weeks, when we already had plans. I told him I need to be looped into these discussions beforehand, and I should have a say as it's my home too. He told me he would talk to her about it tomorrow, but I was not expecting to hear him say he's also being surprised by these visits. Knowing I'll probably need to talk to them about this as well, I'm finding myself struggling to know how to approach this. I normally don't mind confrontation, but we're going to be engaged soon, and I'd rather avoid kicking off my official joining of the family being awkward and tense. How TF do I ask his parents to respectfully give us space and more consideration, and consider staying elsewhere sometimes without making it seem like I dislike them? Too long did not read. BF's parents went from occasional visits every couple of months down to every couple of weeks. They always stay with us and never ask first. Just assume. I'm starting to resent them and don't know how to ask them to slow down without it coming off as very rude. Help. It's not your job to talk to his parents. It will 100% come off as rude. Especially the fact you're not even married yet. Urge your man to have that difficult conversation and hold that boundary. Stop making excuses for him. Your boyfriend needs to learn to say no. Next time they say, we're coming this weekend, the answer is no, that doesn't work for us. All your boyfriend needs to say to them is, that weekend doesn't work for us, and then followed up with, you need to be asking in advance if we're available for a visit because we're not here to host you. My boyfriend, M34, and I, F24, barely talk anymore, and he avoids discussing our future should I end the relationship. My boyfriend, M34, and I, F24, have been in a relationship for almost 3 years. We met through a mutual friend and have been dating since then. To be honest, I didn't really have strong feelings for him at the beginning. I chose to date him because he ticked many of the boxes I wanted in a long-term partner. From the start, we were both honest about wanting marriage at the end of this relationship. The first year of our relationship was great. He met my parents shortly after we started dating, and we openly talked about our future together. However, around our second year of dating, we started talking less and meeting up less. We don't really share many mutual interests, and just like how I chose him because he had what I wanted in a man, he also chose me because I had what he wanted in a woman. When we first started dating, I was still in college, so any talk about marriage was delayed because my mom wanted me to focus on my studies, and he agreed. I finished my studies about a year ago, but he hasn't initiated any conversation about our future since then. I've tried bringing it up in the past, but he said he needed time because he was dealing with a family crisis, and I was dealing with my own as well. As time went by, I noticed that we barely talk or meet anymore. In fact, we haven't really spent time together since around March of last year. I'm not getting any younger, and I don't want to stay in a relationship that has no clear direction. I want to get married someday, but he has been avoiding that topic for quite a while. I suspect he may be dealing with financial issues or something else, but he doesn't communicate with me about it. Right now, it feels like I'm not even dating anyone, yet I can't meet other people because we're still technically together. If he continues to avoid talking about our future, I feel like it might be better to end the relationship and find someone who wants the same things as I do. So I'm asking for advice. Would breaking up be the better solution, or should I push him to have an honest conversation about our future? Too long did not read. I've been with my boyfriend for almost 3 years, but we barely talk or see each other anymore, and he avoids conversations about marriage and our future. I want marriage and a clear direction, and I'm unsure whether I should break up or force a serious conversation. We haven't really spent time together since around March of last year. Girl, it's almost March again. You've been broken up for almost a full year. Why the make-believe act that you're still together? Does he know he's your boyfriend? Sounds like he's already broken up with you without saying it. And don't say you're not getting any younger. You're 24. You're still young as hell. Be free and enjoy it. I think you're already broke up. Feeling like I'm planning my wedding alone, and it's making me rethink my relationship. F27. I, 27 female, and my boyfriend, 26 male, are planning to get married. We decided on a combined wedding to save costs, splitting things 50-50. His parents are paying for his side, while I'm paying for my side entirely because my family is struggling financially and I don't want to burden them. The problem is I feel like I'm the only one putting in effort. I'm really excited about this wedding. I've started reaching out to vendors for quotations, and I honestly think about it day and night. We talked about boundaries with parents during wedding planning, and I told him that I want parents to be involved as advisors, but want us to mainly plan it together since it's our big day. But he said that planning should be done together with parents because they are paying for the wedding. That response really hurt me. First, it made me feel like he's not that into it. Second, it made me feel like my feelings don't really matter, even though Eve told him clearly that planning together is important to me and something I truly enjoy. To make things worse, his mom contacted me and told me she already booked a venue and asked me to keep it a secret from him. I felt blindsided. Why wasn't I asked for my preference? He told me that his mom knows I want a combined wedding, but still I wasn't included in the decision. What hurts the most is that he seems like he's just going to say yes to whatever his parents decide since they are paying. Even though I'm also paying for my side, I feel like I don't really have a say either. I respect his parents and understand cultural expectations, and I'm worried that if I push too hard I will seem disrespectful or hurt their feelings. So I feel stuck, like I just have to give in and follow. I've told him how important this is to me, how much joy I find in planning together, but he's still not proactive. It makes me feel alone in something that is supposed to be our big moment. I know this might sound selfish, but the hurt I'm feeling is not really about the wedding details. Mostly about the lack of effort, because even after I clearly expressed how much this means to me, he has not stepped up or tried to advocate for us as a couple with his parents. He feels like a yes man to them, and I'm starting to see this as a bigger issue. I love him, but I keep thinking if he can't support me or take initiative in something this important, what will happen in the future? Big decision, boundaries, finances. This situation feels like it's revealing a side of him that really scares me. Now I'm genuinely rethinking our relationship because this feels like it could become a much bigger problem for my future. What I want is for my partner to actively plans with me and can advocate for us as a couple, especially when it comes to major life decisions. How do I address this now and decide whether this is something that can realistically change before marriage? Too long did not read. Feeling like I'm the only one putting effort into wedding planning. Boyfriend is passive and defers to his parents since they are paying, even though I'm also contributing. His mom already booked a venue without my input. Lack of effort and support is making me rethink the relationship. So put the wedding on hold and book some couples counseling. Absolutely do not get married yet. This isn't about the wedding, it's about him never choosing you. He's letting his parents run the show and expecting you to just adapt. Marriage won't magically fix that. If he's a yes man now, imagine kids, money, or big life calls later. It's called enmeshment, and unless he recognizes it and wants to change, you don't stand a chance because it's 3 against 1. Booking the venue without your input is a deal breaker. My mom has an animal phobia and is against me getting a cat. I, 25F, have been living alone in a different state than my family for over 2 years. They've visited me once since then for a weekend. Living alone has been good in some ways, but emotionally it hasn't felt sustainable for me long term. I've been wanting to get a pet for a while, most likely a cat, but my mom, 59F, is extremely afraid of all animals. It's definitely a phobia, and we never had pets growing up. Anytime I mention getting a cat, she shuts down completely. She's told me that if I get a pet, I won't be her daughter and she won't be my mother. I've tried to reassure her that she would never have to be around the cat at all, especially since she rarely visits, but it doesn't seem to matter. She still reacts the same way whenever it's brought up. I've reached a point where I feel like I have to do this for myself, but I'm scared of what it could do to our relationship. I'm wondering if anyone has dealt with something similar and how you handled it. Any advice on how to communicate or handle this with her in a way that doesn't escalate the issue? Any experience with handling the guilt that might come with it? Too long did not read. I'm 25F, living alone and want to get a cat, but my mom, 59F, has a severe animal phobia and is strongly against it and says she won't be my mother if I do. Looking for advice on setting boundaries and handling the guilt/relationship fallout. Love. That is not a phobia. That is controlling with the excuse of a phobia. Go be you. Go get your baby. And grow. I read 5 words in, and the answer is already. It's your life, your decision. Your mom is cruel and pretending to have an animal fear, which is oddly specific, it seems. You're 25. Get a kitty and enjoy your life, Red Heart.